So the terminologies are there in artificial neural network. This is the one, a neuron is. Okay. Neuron are the fundamental units of the brain and nervous system. So they cell response for receiving sensory input from the external world, for sending motor commands to our muscles, and for transforming and relaying the electrical signals at every step in between. Right? So electrical signals comes from the brain to the particular part. Example, suppose you're moving your hand. So a signal has come from brain to the hand neurons. Then hand moves. Okay. So and so many we have called organs, right? So lungs is the organ. So okay. So many organs we have. So these organs again have been connected to the brain. So the brain here now, what does it consist of is similar way we are trying to build here. More than that, interaction define who we are as people. Having said that, our roughly 10 billion neurons do interact closely with other cell types, broadly classified as glia. So this entire system is what a neuron is. Okay. The next term required to understand is what this network is. Neural network is. Right side you can see here now there is input layer, hidden layer, and output layer. There is a input layer, hidden layer, and output layer. This is a simple neural network is. The neural network is a series of algorithms that endeavors to recognize underlying relationship in a set of data to a process that mimics the way the human brain operates is. How does this neural network works is similar to our human brain, there is a network to be formed so that it is possible to machine also starts learning like a human is. Neural network refers to system of neurons either organic or artificial in nature is. So our system is natural one. Okay, it's not artificial one. The machines is artificial one. Okay, in nature, machines, neurons are artificial, while humans are natural one. And what is here consists of is a system of neurons either connected. So what is this input layer, hidden layer, output layer? Also, we'll have a look into this. The third one is called the perceptron. Is a word which comes very, very frequently. The perceptron is nothing but called observations. We used to observe from the various sources. So we used to learn by observations, by observing the things. So perceptron means called observing the things. How much do you have perceptron is more important for us. So it's a compute model, according to computer science, is a compute model, a computerized machine devised to represent or simulate the ability of brain to recognize and discriminate. Suppose a new character has come. So what do you hear now? So we'll try to see what that symbol is. Okay. So for example, childhood to go inside of what exactly A is. So what does teacher gives is called a slate and as well as a piece of chalk, and you write similar way. So teacher writes A on the slate and asks the child to do the same activity for so many times. That's called learning concept is. So brain is trying here. What happens is called the brain is trying to recognize the character as A. So there is a practice is happening. So once the practice happens here now, so what is your hand moves, how to move that A is. So we used to do A to Z, then small A to Z. Okay, like this we used to train the brain to this type of mathematical characters. So these are all perceptrons here only. Like that, we also preparing a compute model, a computerized machine devised to represent a similar ability to brain recognize the discriminaties. Once we have called A like this, so machine also is saying this is a called A. So how does this is called? Look at this one right now here now. So this is the one. So this is one line. Okay, one slash this side, another slash this side, and the line is connecting these two slashes. Now it has come here. Simple one, this consists of three lines. One line like this way, another line just start from the way the base started like this. Both should end at same here now, same line x axis, and just take the half of that one and put a line between two slashes. Then we got A. So this is the one mission you are saying that whenever we have called pixels like this, pixels from here to here, okay, yeah, you can say this is called x1 comma x2, okay, x1 comma y1, x1 comma y1 to x2 comma y2, okay. So there are all pixels are like this, all of them are glowing, and also here also glowing, and here also there is here now. When you prepare an algorithm, and the algorithm here now call, you are giving input the what are the pixel values here now in this particular space, this particular space here now, and here now called number of pixels entire space are called example, for example, not compulsory 120 by, so 120 are there number of pixels is 120 space, and here now called the pixels are glowing here like this way, and the algorithm accepts this pixels, and based on the algorithm trained, it says that the character you have entered is A. So this is called a perceptron is, right? Like that, if you go to B, the lemon line, and just from here to here, one off circle, another off circle, now it comes to B. And here now called off circle, this is C. And here now you have one line that connects all these things like this way, off circle manner, this is a D. So all these characters, what do you have is very easy in English here now. In Telugu is very difficult one. So what do you write here now? Here now called starting, ending, there is no, here now called, we cannot release the mouse also here. But in English, you can release the mouse like this, 1, 2, 3, releasing the mouse. But here you're not releasing the mouse, right? Like this you're doing. But in small letters, you can write this, I can write. That's not, we're not releasing the mouse. That's not. So English is very difficult one. In the capital letters, we have to release the mouse. In small letters, we cannot release the mouse, not required to release the mouse. But Telugu is not like, no capital, no small letters in Telugu language, no? All are same. So like this, you have to write. Anything you can take, you can do like this way here now. Okay, but vowels coming, consonants you need to release. Like this concept. Anyway, these are all, when you see, observe this character recognition point of view, you all need to understand this particular type of perceptrons is. As simplified form of neural network, simplified singular neural network, perceptron plays very important role in the binary classifications. Very crucial. Let me clean the board. Right. These perceptrons, two layers comes into picture, two things comes into picture, single layer perceptron, okay, as well as multi-layer. So single layer perceptron, what it consists of is only there is no hidden layer required in a single layer. So only one input layer and middle one which comes weighted one, and the output comes out. So wait for the what is meaning of weighted one. So in this single layer neural network, perceptrons plays very important role in binary classification especially. Binary means called two values, yes or no, true or false, yes or no. So binary classification point of view. This means that perceptron is used to classify data into two parts, hence is binary. Sometimes perceptron also referred as classifiers, binary classifiers. What type of linear binary classifiers is? Okay, a linear line which differentiates the two of them. So left side, right side, yes or no, true or false. Like that is possible. We can classify in a binary fashion, means only two parts. The next topic to understand is what is this weights are, which I said many number of times. What is this weights? Weights are also called parameters. Look at this diagram now. We have called weights. So there are weight 1, weight 2 like this. We have this, all these things are there. And these are called inputs x1, x2, and xr. There are all these things. So these are weights. What is weight? Weight represents the strength of the connection between the units. If the weight from node 1 to node 2 has greater magnitude, it means that neuron 1 has greater influence over neuron 2 is. So every input carries one weight here now. So that we can say called value also you can consider this called. Suppose now there are so many inputs are giving by your friend or somebody, your parents. Do this work, do this work, do this work. So x1, x2, x3. works, we can say it now. So your parents are saying, do this work, and do. So three works have been said to you. Okay, morning they said, by today evening you must complete three works. So which one will do first one based on the value? Which one can be completed very fast? Somebody will ask. Somebody will say which one is a very tough one. Let me complete. Somebody says, let me go randomly. So what you are giving here now, you are giving some weightage to that one. You are giving some weight to the worksheets. It changes from person to person. It's not completely the same. Otherwise, your parents are influencing you. Do this work first. Do this next. Do this one. Then you follow that one. So you are an independent one. You said, I know everything. Let me go my own. So you're giving it here. What you're doing here now, you're giving your own weightage to the works are. So like this, weight is a word which comes. Now see this again. The weight from node 1 to node 2 has greater magnitude. It means that neuron 1 has greater influence over neuron 2. Weights near 0 means changing this input will not change output is. Sometimes from one to other one, there's no weight is there. So we're not giving no change happening here. Sometimes negative weights also happens. Increasing this input will decrease the output also. Weight decides how much influence the input on the output is. Now look at this inputs here now. So this neuron consists of so many inputs are there, x1, x2, x3. These are inputs, and each input is carrying some weight, which is coming to this particular node. It's coming to particular node. So this is happening is sigma is happening. What is happening is the function is now this is a sigma happening. This function can be the summation function. Okay, sum is happening now. Just a summation function is happening. So these are the input signals x1, x2, x3. Each input signal is carrying some weight, and the weight is come here now. So who allots the weights here now is also important for us. That also will be seen. What is this weight value? Is it a 1, is 0 or something? Who allots these weights? Also important for us. And the time of summation of all these things, the multiplication of x1 by w1 plus x2 into w2, x3 with w3, all summation will happens. At the end of all the summation happen, we'll add a bias value to this one. So the result here now will be an input to the activation function. Activation function accepts the result as an input and performs some action, performs some work, and provides a predicted value. This predicted value comes out. So this is a single layer perceptron. This single layer perceptron, there is no hidden layer is involved. There is no hidden layer involved. Hope so that everybody got it. Okay. If you want, I explain you this concept is. Okay. Slowly you are going to the depth of this particular subject is. Fortunately, activation functions, no, here now much work is in our syllabus about activation functions. Only the basic concepts only for you is, but very interesting would be there. Suppose if you want to understand our brain system is, our brain system and this ANN are very close. Somebody says, I want to know what exact our brain works is. For that people, this subject is very, very interesting. Very research, very high level research possibilities there in this work, this one. And if you work here now, so you will be hired into definitely into the foreign universities. Indian universities now are increasing, but takes time to understand this entire research work in Indian universities. But foreign universities, they'll accept it very immediately, really if you want to further research work. Let me see, let's ask some questions for understanding or not. Then I can go to the next levels. So will you understand the basics of this? Yeah. So all of you respond. One, two, please respond so that if you want, I again on. Okay, all of you respond this question. Do you understand the basics of ANN? So one is food. No, I didn't get the point. What exactly you are trying to talk? So you can say, yes, I got it. Good. Somebody said, no, you can write directly. No problem for me. Huh? Based on that, if you want, I'll prepare one more video and I'll give it to you. I don't force you to come and sit my class and understand. When I was asking the question, what I had in my mind is called either you say 2 or 3, but your people are saying 4 also. I'm happy for that. Good, it's good. And the response is somewhat only 25% people responded. Okay, let me go to the next one. This is a function, this now is an activation function, also called as transfer function. You can see right side diagram is the word called sigmoid is already said in the previous online class. Sigmoid function and logistic regression is called linear regression and logistic regressions we have. So -1 to +1 is a logistic regression. The function where we use this sigmoid function is spam mail or not, right? Either accept the order or not. All these things is called possible to the sigmoid function is. Now the same sigmoid function we are using the activation functions. Very high level research is possible in this particular one. That's why not depth we have in our syllabus also. Just a basics is required for us. They are used to introduce nonlinear to neural networks. Somebody asked the question is called the values are in the nonlinear form. What to do is called. So linear we have the data is then in linear form. You can apply it to classify the data is what exactly work is called. The data is in the nonlinear form. In a random fashion, all data is plotted in the graph. How do you do this one is called. So if you want to introduce nonlinear to neural network, this is the concept we have. So all the values are stored in a different random position in the given graph. Then this is called non-linearity is there. There is no line we are finding it. Then what to do here now is called for information. So if I'm trying to difficulty understanding of linearity, this is a linear line. Okay, this is a linear line. Okay, these are all lines called linear line. And lines here now all the values are like this. Okay, plotted. Now how do you write the line? Write like this concept. This is non-linearity concept. So if we have the data is like this fashion, then this is the non-linearity comes in picture. It splashes the values in a smaller range. So splashes, okay. It takes the values in smaller range. That is called sigmoid activation function. Splashes values between 0 and 1. Takes the values between the 0 to 1. There are many activation functions are used in ANN, and ANN, advance of ANN is deep learning only. Remember that. To understand deep learning, you should know ANN is. Deep learning is an elective for you next semester. To understand the deep learning, you should know what is the ANN is. And all the functions comes out again. RULU, SULU, TANH, sigmoid, all these things comes in the deep learning. Instead of deep learning is not single layer network, which I said in the previous diagram, comes multi-layer network comes in the deep learning is. So other form of deep learning is also multi-layer network only. Okay. But these basics very important for you. All the basics, what I said now, the terms are very important for you. Let's go to the next term. What is single layer perceptron is? Single-layer perceptron is the first proposed neural network model. The contents of the local memory of neuron consists of a vector of weights. Vector means single row. Okay, single row or single column. It's called vector. Okay, so this content of local memory of neuron consists of single vector of weights. This is single vector, only one. Okay, one. Right? These are inputs, and the weights also we have seen. Weights also single layer. So single vector. The computation of here now called a single layer perceptron is performed over the calculation sum of input vector, each with the value multiplied by the corresponding element of vector or weights. I said na. So x1 into weight, that's called W1 plus x2 into W2. All this will do, and we'll do the summation. We'll do the summation. We will give us the input the activation function. The value which is displayed in the output will be the input of an activation function. Then multi-layer perceptron. Now we have all these things comes here. Right? Now many activation functions. This is one activation function here. and one more activation function here. And here now called single, here now all these are inputs and multiple weights have come. So W1, 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 we are giving this W1, X1 here, this is X1. So X1 and W1 to this function, X1 and W1 to this also, X1 and W1 to this also, and X2 to W2 into this, X2 into W2 this, X2 into will here, X2 and Xn to Wn here, Xn Wn here, Xn Wn here. All these things perform. So each one activation functions are performing and give some values here now, and these values are inputs to this final activation function, and the final one, the predicted value comes out here. So these activation functions, as many as comes into picture in the multi-layers are, much and much comes into here now. So multi-layer perceptron has input and output layers and one or more hidden layers. These activation functions, what you have is called hidden layers. More and more hidden layers comes into picture is called. How to perform in hidden layer is called through using the activation functions is. And while the perceptron, the neuron must have an activation function that imposes a threshold value. Okay, threshold value, which I said in the logistic function also. Again, I explain you what is threshold is. So it imposes threshold like RE value is one of the function, a sigmoid. So neurons in a multi-layer perceptron can use any arbitrary activation functions. Any functions they can use based on the what is the predicted value you're expecting, that based on that ones. Then what is sigmoid is, what we call threshold is, threshold I tell you. So threshold is some value which allows you to differentiate the inputs as well as outputs also. So for example, you are working on machine is called computer, right? So some error has come. The error is very serious error. That means it crosses some value. That value is called threshold. The machine automatically switches off. So that is called threshold. So for example, the student got more than 60 marks. So 60 is the threshold. That means the first class is. Less than 60 is nothing is called. So it's not a first class, some other value is there. Then we'll go to second threshold value called 50. So more than 50 and less than 60 is a second class. So 60 is a threshold value which identifies that is called student performance is in first class to be keep or second class. That's possible for us to know using the threshold is. A point beyond there is a change in the manner a program executes. In a particular error rate above which the operating system shuts down the computer system, assumption that hardware failure has occurred. The threshold is one of the key components of the perceptron. It determines based on the inputs whether the perceptron fires or not. So I would like to fire the particular perceptron is called. Okay. The value what I got is called here now. Based on that, I need to fire it. So when I reach the threshold value or cross the threshold value, then I'll fire it. That's the example here now. Is I have given an image to machine and I have said machine is called identify this particular images. What does the machine do is called based on the previous examples, we try to identify what exact image is. Now here now called features is important for us. Image consists of features. The image here now features is more than 70%. So 70 is my threshold value. So more than 70% is coming, it identifies that what exact image is. Now come to biometric is. So biometric here now we are not using biometric in the college. Initial times here now called for last 5 years, attendance for the staff and students used to happen is called through biometric, right? I think you are giving for another number also in the scholarship biometric. You used to give in a degree. Now you are not giving or not. I'm not sure because of Corona, but used to happen like this one. How does this is called biometric is yours only? How does other knows that is called biometric belongs to you? That happens through some algorithms here now. And based on algorithm, more than 80% is coming. For example, the threshold value is coming, then it identifies who are you is. Okay. So that image processing point of view, as well as the biometric point of view, these are the algorithms very important one. The term is threshold is very useful one. Basically, the perceptron takes all the weighted input values and adds them together. The sum is above or equal to some value, then the perceptron fires. Then what is bias is? I said the bias would be added to the summation and that will be given as an input to the activation function. So what is this bias is important one. So partiality, bias is what they call, meaning in English dictionary is activation function neural networks takes an input X multiplied by weight W. Bias allows you to shift the activation function by adding a constant value. So I would like to come to a particular solution here now. The activation function, what I expected value from this is both hidden layers as well as the input values and weighted values. I'm expecting some value, but I didn't get the values. I need to add some value to this one. And if I added a value, then I'll come to the particular result is. So that whatever value you're trying to add, that can be referred as biases. Bias allows to shift the activation function by adding a constant to the input. Bias in neural networks can be thought as an analogous to the role of a constant in a linear function, whereby the line is effectively transposed by the constant values. Now I got a question is called. Suppose now if you're adding a value to the result, that's called bias. Suppose you're subtracting a value, what does it call? This question is also important. If you're adding a value, it's called a bias. If you're subtracting a value, sometimes what I'm expecting a value, the value is more than what I'm expecting a value. I need to subtract it. No? So the time I need to subtract it, then what does it call as? That's a question I got it. I also let me explore the question, then I'll give the answer to this. I'm also writing that one is. So subtracting a value, what it is called as. Okay. Let me explore this question and I'll give answer to the next class.